It has been a very long time. Mm, mm, it's kind of warm. It's been sitting in the car too long. Well, let me get on the road and we can chat just for a bit. Let me try to go this way. I hope I don't hit this shopping cart or this car. Um, hold on. Somebody's trying to message me. 1 second. Who is that? It's connecting. I don't know who it is though. I don't know who that is. Hold on. No, I can't get it off. Let's see. Hold on. Can't get it off. There we go. Let me go down. There we go. Let's see. Let me get on the road here. I'm just leaving the Goodwill. I had to try to get some supplies to do some more crafting. And I was trying to find some baby blankets for the dogs because they are just tearing up all of their little blankets that I put inside their crate for them to lay on. And so I'll just have to come back another day because this is not working out. Or at least it didn't. Oh, I'm going the wrong way, but I can go this way too. I don't know why I decided to go this way, but this wasn't the way I was intending to go. But maybe this is the way we need to go. All right. We'll just follow the freeway here. So I haven't been on in a while, and that's just because I'm struggling. Like I really am struggling through COVID. Like I've been dealing with it for as long as everybody else has, and it had me in a state to where I just got so fatigued, tired. I can't hardly think sometimes. And honestly, be honest with you, I didn't feel like going online live to chat or talk or anyway or anything. To be honest with you, I had. Have you seen some of my previous ones that I had done? Not the TikToks, but my lives on YouTube and Habs about the BL series. And you can just tell, like, I couldn't remember names. Like, I'm just jumbling through the storyline. I can't remember certain events. And it's like, I didn't feel like myself. So I got up to, I think, Fish Upon a Star. I know it's Tale of a Thousand Stars. And that was one of the last ones I talked about. And then Fish Upon a Star, I was like, I'm not going to talk about it because my brain is like in la la land. I can't concentrate. I can't hold all the names in my head as much as I want to. And I just got like in a funk, and I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay off of the lives until I start feeling better because I hadn't felt myself in a while, and I would go to sleep at night. Like I normally stay up late night crafting. I was doing tons of crafts and crafting projects. I'm so behind on projects and stuff. That's my little side hustle, selling my crafts. And I just have not physically been able to do it because if I'm not in the mental space to concentrate, I can't work on a sewing machine or work with power tools. I've been hurt myself, and I can't concentrate. So I just have not been doing a whole lot of crafting. I've been able to do just a little bit this past week, but it's been like hit and miss. And I guess that's just the way it's going to be until I get back to myself like 100% because I felt like I'm just like all out of sorts, dealing with, summer heat, getting out in public, being around like, people who are fascinated in all kinds of stressful situations that I don't even want to talk about. But I did want to come on live and chat with you guys a bit just to let you know that I'm still I'm alive. I'm still here. I'm just kind of like not posting I mean, doing live chats and stuff as much as I would like to. I just can't right now. And I just mustered up enough energy today to even put apps back onto my phone. One of my phones died, so my current phone that I usually use, it died. So I had to use one of my older phones until I can get a new phone, and God knows when that's going to be, because you know money's tight right now. I'm just going to throw it out there like that. And if you want to donate, you know how to hit my Cash App or PayPal. PCESSARIEL. The donations would help right about now before things get, a little bit more crazy. But I dusted out my resume. I'm probably going to start looking for like another job or something like that, because everybody can tell, oh, excuse me, that the cost of living is going up, and my poor little bank account is just shrinking on down as the bills and stuff, roll through. And it's just an interesting time to be alive, I guess. I can honestly say I've never seen anything like this before in my life, where, I live in a place where people don't believe in vaccinations. I just never thought I'd live to see something like that, but here we are. 50% of people are vaccinated, and the other half are like, I ain't doing that. I don't trust that. I don't believe in science. So what can you do? Like, it's everybody's individual choice how they want to live, you know. And it's so interesting that the other day, I think it was Raven or someone sent me a link um, to this actress from The Shy. That's like one of those, I don't know, gangster movies that is real popular series, and it features a trans girl by the name of Jasmine, and she was being interviewed by this other lady. I forget her name; it just won't come to me right now. But they were having a conversation about her transition from, male to female, and all the ins and outs, and how she maneuvered through her relationships. And it was an interesting conversation. Honestly seen that lady interview T.S. Madison before, and a couple of other trans girls, and I don't know who she is, or if she's a housewife in Atlanta or somebody. I don't know, but um, I personally didn't care for her style of interviewing, because it was very sketchy and choppy. And the girl, I never heard of Jasmine before, so I don't know who she is. But she was saying some very, very questionable things that I just was like, okay, you are speaking on something that is broader. She's narrowing it down to, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And I'm like, yeah, that's not going to work. Because I'm looking at myself, and I'm like, okay, me and her have, at my journey into my, gender identity, it came from birth, basically. Her situation is completely different from mine, so she can't speak for me on my journey, because when I started my transition, I was by myself. I only knew one other trans girl who barely could speak any English, and I was just on a lonely road by myself. So I just find it interesting that these trans women who have completely transitioned over will come back and say some very inappropriate things about, you know, who who should transition and how they should transition, and how much of the transition considers them to be complete in this, that, and the other, because that's a very broad topic. In the topic, of what you can do transitioning doesn't mean, like, for her to feel completely female, she had to do a complete transition. And she's forgetting that not everybody wants to transition. Some people cannot completely transition, for medical reasons, or, end of life, who knows? Like, it's not a one thing fits all. And she was completely doing that. And I was like, this is so inappropriate. And I don't know if this lady who was speaking to her, interviewing her, was aware of the inappropriate things she was saying. I just felt kind of lost in the sauce with, midway through the conversation, because I was like, well, as long as she's talking about herself, that's fine. But when you start, under the radar sliding everybody else under the same scale as you, then that's kind of a problem. And so I just sit there and looked at her, and then the lady who was interviewing her was asking her about, should children be allowed to transition at an early age? And I don't know Jasmine's age or whatever, but she's old enough to know that, if you yourself was feeling, female from birth, like most transgender girls do, then it's not for you to say when someone should or should not transition. And it's definitely not for you to throw a number on it and say when someone should or should not take hormones, because for one, it's not your child. I would never open up my mouth and tell another parent what they should do with their kid, because the child didn't come through me. It ain't mine. And basically, none of my business what you do with your child. If you walk them down to Burger King and introduce them to the witch doctor, that's your business. That ain't got nothing to do with me. And I was just sitting there looking at her interview go south. Like at first, the girl was coming across, really intelligent and all together. And then when she started asking all the questions about, other people's children and what kids should do in high school and if they should play sports and this, that, and the other, keep your mouth off of other people's children. It's just like, you know, common sense. Like you don't need to interject your opinion onto somebody else's situation, because it's not your child for one, and you came up in a different era in a different situation. You don't know every child's situation, so why are you speaking on um, on a topic that you don't honestly don't know anything about because of what you said, and then you didn't make any sense. Like it was not a concise thought, because she was like, well, they should just wait till they're 18. They should be able to live as, whatever gender they prefer, but they shouldn't take any hormones, and, they shouldn't be participating in, sports and this, that, and the other. It's like, it sounds very stupid for one, because when I was in middle school and high school, you had to take gym. I think it's elective now, but you had no choice. And trust and believe, I did not want to play dodgeball. I did not want to play softball. I didn't want to play any sports, period. I tried like in my sixth grade, I tried to play basketball. As soon as I got slammed real hard with the ball, I was like, my parents kept trying to push me, but I was like, no, I don't want to play sport. I didn't want to do that shit. I felt more of, if I can turn, let me see if I can get it. Something, I don't know why. Anyway, I'm not gonna mess with it because I have no idea why it's acting weird. I think maybe it's the signal, but I apologize. But I'm gonna keep talking anyway um, about my situation. So I didn't really want to play sports. I ended up getting into choir, music, um, learning how to type, cooking home ec, and stuff like that in middle school. High school, I got into theater, drama, um, acting, performance, and music, choral music and stuff like that, choir. I wanted to be a cheerleader so bad, but I was very intimidated by all the athletic people and big mouths at the school, because the school that I was at, it was a lot of bullies and stuff like that. And so for that reason, I ended up not auditioning and all that. I missed auditions for it. But I did want to be a cheerleader, but that didn't happen. So I kind of like had a lot of regrets. And so, this girl Jasmine from the Shy, she's really pretty. She's your typical little, stick figure girl with all the big oversized hair. She looks like one of those video vixen girls, that you would see in somebody's rap video dancing and sliding around and, cutesy and everything. But when she starts to do critical thinking when it comes to the trans community, she's very non-inclusive in her thoughts, and I just find that so problematic. Like, who the hell does that? Like, I don't know. Like, I was just dumbfounded at, the interview at that point. Now, while she was talking about herself and, making herself look like Susie Homemaker, that was all fine and good, but we know that's not reality. That, a lot of us want to look like the good girl, you know, I only date one boy and I dated one boy at a time, but, that's not reality. And so I was cool with that. But then when she started saying all that off the collar stuff about, you know, who, when you transition, and she can only speak about herself basically. Like, I don't want her speaking for me, because when I went through my transition, my journey was completely different from hers. And so she doesn't have the right to speak for me, and I don't think I have the right to speak for her. We all have we fall under the identity of female and transgender, but um, she definitely, was saying like you have to fully transition, and that's not everybody's situation. I can tell you for one, for myself, you don't need to have a complete surgery to get your birth certificate and get your driver's license. I can just leave it at that. I don't have to go into all the great details about it, but if you go through the doctors, you go through the correct. I can't get my camera to stop doing that. I don't know why. I don't know how to. Oh, there's an ambulance coming by. Sorry. Maybe if I turn it that way, it still looks weird. Okay, then it came back normal. Okay, so let me turn it back again. Oh, there I am. Lord Jesus. And so anyway, the camera was doing something weird, but I lost my train of thought. See, and this is what I'm talking about. There's a lot going on downtown. I got to get through downtown quickly and get my ass home. Uh, there's a lot of accidents on the freeway and stuff, so that's why you're hearing all the ambulances and everything. But anyway, back to Jasmine and myself. So our transitions are very different. Um, I was able to do most of my surgery. I didn't do complete surgery because I have scarring and I have, really bad health. And they were saying, like, if you complete your surgery, you're gonna die. Like, you're gonna be dead. Like, that was basically what was told to me. They did some elective surgery, like they do an erectomy, when they remove your, you know, testicles and all that. And you have to be seen by doctors, and you have to go to courts. You have to go through so much paperwork, and you have to prove that that's, as far as you can get in your transition. And then, you're not gonna, you know, you have to have a doctor's notes and all this kind of stuff. And so Jasmine was saying that you had to fully, completely transition in order to get your birth certificate and get your driver's license, get all of this stuff. And I'm like, why is she telling people this misinformation? Because maybe where she lives, maybe in her state, that's the requirement. But I never heard of that. Like, you don't have to do anything, and you can still get your driver's license in this state, and I'm in Arkansas. And so, it makes it very difficult to for girls to feel comfortable with themselves when you're putting information out like that, and it's not true. And I finished, completed my transition over, I would say like going on 5 years ago. But it took me from 19, no, it was, yeah, 20, no, I left 2001. So, um, 19, oh Lord Jesus, I can't even remember when my transition started. It started almost 20 years ago. I will put it like that because I was still at Disney. And that's when I started taking hormones and estrogen blockers, testosterone blockers and stuff like that. Oh shit, I'm fixing to get stuck because this car. Hold on, just 1 second. And it took me a very long time because I got ran off the job in mid, you know, just getting it started was like my boss was like, "Bitch, no, you're ugly. You're not cute enough. This, that, and the other." She's like all in my business. Like she fucked everything up. And so it took me on a pathway of moving around state to state, from Arizona to Nevada, back to Florida, to back to Arizona, back to, back and forth until I landed back here in upstate New York. Then I ended up back in Arkansas, like over a 5 or 6 year period, I guess. Um, Maybe less than that. I think about 4 years. I was bouncing around, trying to get my life together, and it was very difficult. But throughout that process, I was on and off the estrogen, uh, hormone pills, and stuff like that until I moved back here and got with, just by chance, talking to the right people online, and got with the right people here who helped me complete my transition, as far as I could get. And I just don't want young people to listen to Jasmine because she's so pretty and cutesy and everything, and she don't look nothing like me. You know, um, to make them feel that they can't transition without elective surgery, because you don't have to do all that. There's no rush to do that because you know you're you know you have to have doctors and counselors and all kinds of stuff to guide you in your process, however you're processing. And there's girls out here who, they don't even take hormones. They look like natural girls. They don't have to do all that stuff. They're comfortable with themselves with whatever sex organ they got between their legs. So that's not necessary for every girl to do that. And I just was mystified that she would open her mouth up and put that out into the universe. And then the girl who was interviewing her, the lady, she's a cis heterosexual lady that I guess that was interviewing her, I think. And she didn't correct her. She just let her say that crazy shit. And I'm like, okay, you're putting a lot of incorrect information out there into the universe because everybody don't have elective surgery. Some people do some surgeries. Some people do most of the surgeries. It depends on where you are in your life and in your transition and what you're comfortable with and what you can achieve. With the laws in your state. The laws in my state, you can do a lot of stuff without having surgery. Like it's not necessary to chop your body up and possibly kill yourself trying to, transition. It's just not a reality for everybody who's living in their truth. And so I wish Jasmine would have said, just for me personally, this is what I went through, instead of saying, well, this is what trans women go through. And it's like, oh my God, you're putting everybody in a box and you can't box people. Like that's not gonna fly. And so give me 1 second. Um, Trying to get through downtown. It's like lunchtime, so people are everywhere. It says, why would they run? Why would you run off the job? At Disney in Florida, that was at Magic Kingdom. And so, sorry, I had to backtrack. I didn't see your question, Lee Beans. I was running off the job because my friend told my boss that I was transitioning from male to female, and I hadn't had a chance to really say anything to my coworkers. I just entrusted one of my close friends that, hey, this is what I'm doing. I've already seen a doctor. It's gonna go down, but I need to talk to my family first. And so, while I was duking it out, long distance with my parents or whatnot, this girl went to my boss behind my back and told her that, hey, don't let her transition. Like she's trying to become a woman. She's a man, and stop her. You know, and it just it was a whole fucking mess. I ain't gonna lie to you, it was a mess. I lost everything. I lost my seniority, 10 years worth of seniority. I lost my ability to make overtime, make money. It cost me to lose a lot of friends, a lot of LGBT friends who were too scared to stand up for me and try to, have my back in the midst of the situation. It was ugly. I ain't gonna lie to you. And I ended up running off the job. I just lost everything, lost my house, lost my car, lost everything. I had to, go on a journey of how am I gonna exist as a trans girl now, because I never thought I'd lose my job and my stability over this. But for me, it was either suicide or stop living a lie. Like I had to just be honest with myself. I didn't identify with men. I have nothing in common with them. Period. Nothing. Other than the fact that I was born in that same shell that they were in, and it was the wrong ass shell, and that was it. And there was no going back. Like he was either just swallow the damn pills and die and get off the planet. Because I really didn't. I tried to fit in the gay LGBT community at the parties and stuff, and fit in with the gays, and the gays didn't like me. They're like, you act too much like a fucking girl. Like if I wanted to date a girl, I would just stay straight. Like they were really tearing into me in the social scene. So I really was at a loss as what the hell was going on and why I was just so uncomfortable with my body and why I didn't, I was petrified going into men's restrooms and stuff like that. Like it was just a self journey. Like it was a journey of self, realization that, hey, I hate to say it, but I hate myself. I hate who I am. Like, I don't know how else to put it to you. Like, I can't live like this. And there was nobody around. There was no Laverne Cox. There was no, celebrity people around back then that could swerve me in a direction. And then when I was getting ready to swallow all the damn pills, I met a girl from Mexico. Her name was Aaliyah at the time. And we were hanging out at the club. I didn't know what a trans was. Nobody explained these things to me. So I had no idea what the hell trans was until I met her. And once I met her, we were hanging out, partying, going out, at night. And she didn't work for Disney, but I did. Her boyfriend worked for Disney, and that's how I met her through him. And one day we were getting dressed, and she was like, "Hey, why don't you, you know, try to dress like you're really supposed to?" And I was like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And she just looked at me and she's like, "Girl, you're a girl. Like, stop with the bullshit, all this, half doing shit. Just go ahead and do yourself fully." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "You're trans." And I was like, "What the hell is that?" Because I had never heard of that. I always was trying to literally figure out how am I going to fit into the gay scene. And I was like, I'm not gay. Like, and nothing in me was identifying with those gay guys. Nothing. Like zero zip. Not even the drag queens or any of that. I was just like, I would see all that stuff and it went over my head. Like I just didn't identify with any of it. It was entertaining and they were entertaining, but I didn't like people insulting me. And there were like little tidbits of the reality that you know, I can look back on it now and can see it clearly now, like a pathway of, okay, I was born into this hot ass mess. Like I just didn't dream this out of my mind. It's always been like this, and I can see the instances in my life where, oh, okay, that's why people was reacting to me the way they were reacting to me, because it was just me being myself, but they were just, you know, treating me as they saw me. And I was in a black community, so I wasn't around a diverse group of people like when I was at Disney. And so, yeah, that girl sent me in the right direction, because I was really about to swallow every pill in my cabinet at my house, because I had gotten exhausted with options, because I was like, okay, I'm not gay and I don't see any other option. After all the insults and, you act too much like a girl, this, that, and the other, I was just like, oh my God, like what the hell is, there's nothing left. Like, just get off the damn planet. Like, leave already. And thank God that girl said trans to me, because it sent me on a whole new journey to doctors and psychiatrists and everything. And I got it all together right there in Florida. And once I realized, oh my God, you know, I've been shammed, I've been hoodwinked. My whole life has been, because I was practically at that time, I was damn near 30 years old. I was thinking I was 28 or 29 when I met her. And I was still walking around like clueless. And I never was comfortable with being called a gay. Like, I was like, I promise you, I'm not a gay. Like, I don't feel comfortable with my body parts. I don't want a penis on my body. Like, it was like always, constantly. And I never put two and two together. And it took me that long to figure it out. Like, it's not like how it is now, where you can just see trans people visibilities more and more and more and more and more in your face. I was by myself doing this, trying to figure shit out, and was about to suicide on up out of here. And that was not the first time, that I had thought about suicide. I had some situations in high school where, I was about to peel out again, because I just can deal with all the teasing and all the nasty. I don't think they are gay if they are questioning you, LOL, if you ask me. And so, I guess, but you'd be surprised at the stuff that has, you know, that you encounter in your journey in life. And so, that's, I mean, as much as I can say about, my own personal journey. It was rough, and there was nobody to assist me in all the back and forth. And that's how come I don't feel bad about where I am in my life at this age, because I'm already in my 50s. And you don't really have a strong support system. I didn't have a support system. It was a journey of self exploration. I might as well have been an astronaut, in outer space, trying to figure things out in another planet, as far as I'm concerned. And that's why when I listen to Jasmine, and I've never seen this shy and her acting skills or anything. I just, this was sent to me through another trans woman, two spirit lady that I know. It was enlightening to understand her journey, but it was problematic when she started saying stuff that included all of us as a community in a box. And I just kept saying to myself, no, 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 this is inaccurate information. And, you're a big celebrity girl now, so you should have enough knowledge on the subject to understand that everybody's transition isn't the same. And that's pretty much what I thought about her interview. I didn't think it was a horrible interview. I didn't care for the lady who was giving the interview, because I think she's just, I don't know, I just think she's not the best person to be having that conversation. But, who am I to tell somebody who they can and cannot speak to? But I've seen her interview, T.S. Madison and someone else. I can't remember who the other person I saw her interview, but I've seen her bouncing off of my YouTube, here and there, and through other girls sending me stuff on the, those Instagram links and stuff like that. But I don't know who she is. Like, I don't follow them. I'm just seeing them, for the first time. And that lady I've seen before, though, they interviewed her. I just can't remember her name. I think she's a housewife. I would put my money on she's probably an Atlanta housewife or somebody like that, but I don't know for sure. Um, and so it was interesting. I just wanted to come on here and chat with you guys for a little bit. I have not been able to do a live for a long time, and just because COVID has really put me in a funk, just to put it at least, because it's just such a depressing time, especially in this state. And hopefully, I can get back to it. Get back out there, and I'm still trying to do my crafts, trying to get my head together and get my thoughts together and stuff like that. And hopefully, can do some more lives. I would love to do a live with some of the girls and just get different opinions on this subject of what they go through in their transition, where they are in their lives and stuff like that, because I know everybody's journey is different. Mine was very difficult, so I don't want somebody like Jasmine or anybody speaking for me, because I'm still alive. I can speak for myself, and I could write a book on the subject because I've been through it. And that wasn't the only job I got ran off of. I got ran off of several jobs, but it didn't stop me. I never had to be a person that was on the streets prostituting or anything like that. But while I was in Florida, I had my pick of hookups and all of that, because it was Florida is one of those places where you can hook up with as many people as you want. Like, it's the hookup state. Like, nobody's dating anybody, to be honest with you. They just hooking up. And I went through my share of hookups, and until I burned out on that, dating around, and stuff like that. Had a couple of really intense relationships. They were all tragic. And, I've been married, and now I'm not, and not in this country, but, in another country. I was married to an Egyptian guy. And I was with him for about, I would just give him good 3 years. I'm not going to give him any more than that of my time, but we were together for about 3 years. And I would say we're married for a year of that three. Oh, God help me. And so that marriage failed. So I was a failed in that. And that sucks. It sucks when your relationships don't work out. And for me, it was crucially hard because I had to separate myself from his family because I'd gotten so close to them in such a short period of time. His mom, his dad, his brother, sister, brothers and sister, and just the idea that he had married another girl behind my back and didn't tell me about her. I had no clue. But I just kept looking at his family like, well, bitch, did y'all know about her? And why didn't you say anything? And then he was giving her, like, pretty much all the money that I had out of my savings. He was dipping into it and giving it to her, because when she had had enough of it, she finally emailed me and said, "Thank you for the money." And I was like, "Who the fuck are you?" And she was like, "I'm his wife." And I'm like, "Bitch, no, I'm his wife. Who the hell are you?" And she was like a French Canadian, like, white lady, kind of fat and chunky. We both were fat and chunky at the time. And so he had told me he didn't like white ladies. He only liked black girls like me. This bullshit that these guys will pull on you to get you. They'll say anything. And, my dumb ass was believing everything he said. And you live and you learn. That's all I can say. I've been by myself now since I left. We broke off in 2010, so we're in 2021 now. So it's been a minute. I haven't been with nobody. Like, I realized in all of that journey of dating and marriage and all of that, that I can only be the best person for me at this stage of the game, and I can be nice to myself, and I don't need someone else to make complete me to make me happy because the little fairy tale and how in my mind I wanted to be married. I want to have a baby. You know, we were gonna go through surrogacy, of course, and he was working it out too. And I thank God that we didn't. It didn't happen because I would have been stuck with that baby, and he would have catapulted him and his wife right on over here to the United States. Because I can see the little plan that was swirling around in his stupid head, and it didn't work out because he got caught. Not before he emptied my damn bank account and took all my money. And so, you live and you learn. That's all I can tell people. Don't think it can't happen to you because it can. You can get caught up. You don't have to be transgender. You can see that 30-day fiance or 20-day, the one y'all got on that they have on that TV station. I forget what they call it, 30-day fiance. Them girls be going through it. I was one of them girls. And that guy put me through hell and back, and it woke me up. It woke me up to realize, hey, you better wake up. Like, and I was in a foreign country. Like, I wasn't in the United States with him. I was traveling back and forth. I think I went over there 3 times and stayed, a month. Leaving my critters behind and stuff, trailing in behind him, and he just draining my pockets and giving me pure hell. And the whole time he was married to this girl, and didn't even tell me that, hey, I'm married to 2 people now, bitch. No, you're not, because I'm done. It's not a legal marriage as far as I'm concerned, and goodbye. And I left like I was done. Like I got back here, bounced around some more, state to state, and ended up coming back home with my family. And he was still calling, threatening them on the phone, and doing all kind of stupid shit. I don't know how he got all their phone numbers, embarrassed the hell out of me, made me look like a fool to my family, and they wouldn't tell me because they were like, didn't want to upset me more than what I already was. So it was like years later that they finally told me what he did, and I was just like, wow, what an asshole. But you live and you learn. So anyway, I'm at the grocery store. I gotta grab a few things and get home and let the puppies out. And so I'm gonna end it here. Don't ever do it, Lee Beans. Don't ever do it. Um, Check out my channel over at YouTube. That's Princess Ariel M. Um, you can also, if you want to hear more on that subject, I think Raven Ova, Ovaah, Raven Ova, she did a live chat talking about the same subject with Jasmine, which is the girl from The Shy. It's a trans woman. In her conversation, I think she has a link in her description. I'm gonna see if I can add a link on my YouTube page under this subject if you're just interested in watching that interview, just so you can see it for yourself and form your own opinion if you agree with me or if you think she's okay with just kind of lumping everybody like clay together. Because honestly, my journey is my journey, and my transition was completely different from hers. And I have my birth certificate, I have my driver's license, and I went through the courts. I had to, go to a judge, see a judge, and all that. It's all legal. So whatever she's spitting out there over there to people who are just getting started on their journey could be misleading, and that's the only thing I'm trying to say in all of what I'm saying is don't listen to her. She's cute and pretty, but she don't have her facts together when it comes to this life of transitioning from male to female. So that's all. This is Princess Ariel. Lee Beans, thank you for all your comments. Um, I don't have any best friends, but I know Raven. We chat often. I didn't know any other trans girls to chat with until I seen her online chatting one day, and she literally was spitting my thoughts back to me in my face, we were so in link. Now her journey is completely different from mine. I don't know her dating patterns and her way of life is completely different from mine, so we don't have the same journey. So like Jasmine has a very different journey than mine, so she can't speak for me because I don't experience all those things that Jasmine experienced. I didn't experience the things that Raven or any of these other. We're all individual people, so how they get down in the bedroom ain't how I get down in the bedroom. It's like all. It's not a one size fits all, is what I'm trying to say. And for me to transition was life or death. Like I was literally about to swallow a bunch of pills because I didn't want to be on the planet anymore. And thank God, I really believe God sent that girl into my life just to steer me in the right direction. Because even though it took, many years to get fully to a place of legally transitioned and living in my life and my truth, um, without her, I probably wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be here to talk to any of you guys. So I'm just saying I'm grateful, that I met Aaliyah when I did, because nastiness of the gay community, because the LGBT community is vicious, and especially in Florida, it was. I can't even tell you how many clubs I went to, and I just standing there like a sore thumb, like people bouncing all around me, gay, straight, in between, bi, trans. Everybody was just bouncing around my ass like I didn't exist. And I would just try to speak to people, try to make friends. It was warehouse parties and everything I would go to, and I just felt uncomfortable. I didn't feel like I fit in. Like, I'm not gonna say everybody was vicious and mean, but for the most part, I just was standing around like not feeling comfortable in a lot of those places. And I didn't go to them because I was like, you know what? I can go to this one club over here. That manager likes me. He made me the VIP girl. That wasn't necessarily a gay bar though. It was a straight bar. It was gay one night of the week, but I was there 7 nights of the week partying at that place, and that was on Disney property. And it was only because the manager liked me that I was able to go there and hang out. That I think he had a crush on me or something. I ain't trying to own up to none of this. It's just between us. But I was the VIP girl there, and so I didn't say VIP boy. I was the VIP girl. So it is what it is, and I love it. So you're laughing at me, Lee Beans. But anyway, check out Raven's channel. It's Raven Ova. She's on YouTube as well. She's also on Instagram. She also had a 1 hour girl chat with another girl. I'm not familiar with her. I think her name was Betty or somebody like that, Lee Betty or something like that. And check out their interview, and they talk about and discuss what their thoughts were. So everybody's girl Raven got it. What's her name again? This girl from the Shy. She's got people chatting. So I'm gonna get off of here because I got to get home. So bye, everybody. Nice chatting.